All right, the informant back in the building. So there's a certain ring that keeps showing up in hip hop. And at first it looked like regular jewelry to me, right? Nothing special. But when you start noticing who wore it and what happened to them after wearing this ring, it gets harder to try to ignore it. Because this same ring has been seen on multiple rappers, and every one of these rappers ended up dying violently. Now, I'm not saying the ring is what caused their death. This is about symbolisms, patterns, and repetition and timing. What's the coincidence that the same thing end up happening to all these rappers who wear this simple ring that we all think is just a piece of jewelry? Because if you pay attention, all these rappers taking photos with this ring, they're blatantly making sure that you see the ring. Let's start off with King Von. He's been seen in multiple photos with this ring on. Now, at the time, King Von was one of the hottest rappers in the industry, right? Not too long after those pictures was taken, King Von ended up getting killed in Atlanta back in 2020. Most people would say that this is random, right? But then it happened again. PNB Rock was seen wearing the same ring. Now, keep in mind, this is a different artist from a different city with a different background, but ended up with the same circumstances. In 2022, PNB Rock was killed during a robbery in Los Angeles. Now, I'm not making any accusations at all. This is just facts. Now, so far, we've seen two different artists from two different cities wearing the same ring and ended up with the same circumstances, right? But I know what y'all gonna say. This is just a coincidence. But here goes another one. The rapper Mo3 from Dallas, Texas, seen wearing the same ring. Now, this was when Mo3 was just starting to blow up and people were recognizing it's a dude with a gangster image, but he sings melodic songs, right? And no lie, it seemed like Mo3 would have been Rod Wave if he didn't pass away. But in 2020, Mo3 was killed on a Dallas highway. Once again, different artist, different city, same ring with the same results. Now it goes from coincidence to patterns, right? Because now we got Young Dolph, and we all know Young Dolph for being a well-established independent artist, right? That's all he preached, was owning his stuff and running multiple businesses outside of the music industry. Now, that right there already tells you he's a dangerous man and possibly could be an enemy to the industry itself with a mindset like that, right? But needless to say, Young Dolph was seen with that same ring and ended up being shot and killed in Memphis. So this is another violent death with the same symbolism popping up. We gotta rule coincidence out. This is what you call a pattern. Now, I'm gonna give y'all one more just to show y'all that this is not random at all. Pop Smoke was seen with the same ring as all these other rappers that I just mentioned, and he ended up being killed during a home invasion of an Airbnb in LA. Now, one thing that stands out to me with all these rappers, right, is that they all had an upward trajectory in their careers going on. They were about to take it to the next level of success in their career. Now, at this point, y'all can't tell me the repetition isn't uncomfortable because it's different artists from different cities with the same symbols with the same outcome. Now, what's crazy is this ring isn't new. Tupac was seen wearing the same ring back in the 90s, and we all know how his story ended. Even to this day, people are still talking about his tragic death. And I'm not putting Tupac with these modern cases. I'm just pointing out that this specific symbol has always been in different generations of hip hop with the same ending. Now, this star symbol has existed way before hip hop, and it represented different things for different people, whether it was in church or in the military or even in organizations like the Order of the Eastern Star. Now, this is what makes it confusing to pinpoint why these rappers was wearing this particular ring, because they all can't be saying, "Hey, I just like this ring." Not that that's impossible, but it's unlikely. What will be the reason for all of these guys to wear these rings and ended up passing away almost in similar ways? Now, there has been theories saying that maybe all these rappers was marked for insurance policies by these labels, because a lot of these guys was signed to the same entities other than Young Dolph. But even though Young Dolph was independent, he still had a distribution deal through Empire. And if you look this up, a lot of these guys that passed away had some type of dealings with Empire. That could be a coincidence. I'm not saying Empire is guilty of anything, but they all had some type of business dealing with this specific record company. Now, that I could say possibly is a coincidence, along with the rings. A coincidence again? I don't know. I don't know any of this to be true, but I'm just saying it seems strange and it's very much a pattern. Now, it was so many more artists that I could have shown that had the same ring on that ended up passing away, like XXX Tentacion and even Julio Fulio and more people, but I don't want to overkill it by just showing you guys the same patterns over and over. Something about this ring. I don't know if it's the ring of death. I don't know what it is about this ring, but anyone that's seen wearing this ring, unless they're fully tapped into the industry and the right people, for some reason things are happening to these people, and it's happening in a very tragic way, very violent, right? For example, PNB Rock was caught on video with his situation, just like King Von was caught on video with his situation. Young Dolph was caught on video for everyone to see with his situation. Mo 3 running down the highway was caught on video. And I'm just realizing that all these guys' death was caught on video. Almost like on some cabin in the woods type of energy. And for me, I don't put anything across. For me, I don't put anything past the industry. This could be some cabin in the woods shit. Once you get that ring, you're on the chopping block and you don't even know. You think you're being gifted with something and they tell you it's worth this and that, so you have no problem putting it on. This is spooky, man. This is very, very spooky. And it's coming to me that I'd never seen a pop artist wearing this ring. Nor do we see pop artists dying these violent deaths. So I don't know what to think about that. That's just something to think about when you want to get into the industry. A lot of the urban artists tend to die very young, very tragically. I don't know what's going on, but this ring is something serious. If you ever get signed and you see this ring being propped up to you, you better run. The Informant, I'm out.